Good evening, SRA Nation, and welcome to Season 12.
Today is going to be a new challenge, aside from being sent for. We're racing on the surface of the sun, apparently.
They're heading down towards the main start line.
Maximizing that track just behind, that's exactly what we were talking about, that one corner. So critical to your lap time, you have to send it. This is the apex curving there by a little bit.
Everybody's now bunched up, and you do not want that.
Rewind now at the end of Sector 1 in the spot you really don't want to, but the fight's not over.
Still there on the inside, and the McLaren's still not going to give the place up.
And we're off and away for SRA. Good evening, SRA. Welcome to round 6 of Season 13, Division 2. To the land down under, Mount Panorama, as I like to confuse it with the other mountain from land down under, Mount Doom. Welcome to round 6 at Mount Panorama, the infamous, I'm going to say the infamous, street course that we have seen a fair few carnage from yesterday. I will be soloing the boot for now. Hopefully Oppo can join us later into the race. So there's no one to talk to. I'm just gonna talking to myself and you guys. So without any further ado, let's go on to the season calendar and let's talk us through the story so far. We are 6 races into the season, and it has been an absolutely wild season in D2. Right from the get-go, in Suzuka, we saw an amazing race in the front, with Anton Rushevich putting a dominant performance to take the victory, only to get bumped up to D1. And we also had Neo Eriksson Porsche, who almost won the race, only 0.3 seconds away from Anton. And we also saw Brian Anderson, who grabbed the fastest lap with a 59.8. That would have been D1 time. But so it's crazy how fast these D2 guys are. And we also saw some drivers trying to pick up the pace. We saw Josh Damiani and Eric Boardman, who struggled to pick up pace. And I think Ivan McCrow, he got a drive through despite having a pretty early lead from the pit stops. So, or stop and go 30. So it's unfortunate. And then we go on to round 2 at the Watkins Glen, where John Last sets the pace. He emerged as the drivers to beat. He controlled the race from front to, for 30 out of the 34 laps. And then we had an amazing scrap between Jason Allen and Nick Sand for second place. The fastest lap for that race went to Louis Daniel Velez with a 44.4. Also cutting it close to D1. In Misano, Laz doubles up. He gets his second victory in Misano. Also dominates the race with 35 laps out of the 38 laps being led by him. And yeah, it was a crazy dominant race. He also set the fastest lap with 33.8. But behind him, we saw Ivan McCrow and Donovan Colton. We'll get to Ivan later. And they had their strongest performance yet, securing podium spots. And they were signaling that they're going to challenge for a race win. We also had an amazing drive from Roy Key, finishing fourth. And then we go on to Nürburgring, which is a wet weather surprise. And this race shook up the order. We saw Josh Damiani take his first race victory of the season, with Jack Krause leading most of the laps, but ultimately finishing 6th. It was also a battle of patience for the other Mustang driver, Brian Anderson, who managed to set a fastest lap of 2:01. Note that this is a wet race, and he couldn't close the gap to Damiani. Meanwhile, we also saw Kurt LeMay and Eric Boardman use their Porsches to secure a top 4 finish, putting their names on the list of contenders in this unpredictable season. And then we go on to the last race, round 5. Colton strikes back. This race was all Donovan's race. He controlled the race 37 out of 40 laps, take his first win of the season. And the battle for the podium was also insane, with Art and Ivan McCrory finishing 5 seconds off of the leader. Art, I believe, started pole, which I guess is the first time we saw the BMW shine this whole season. Josh Damiani, still riding high for Nürburgring victory, grabbed the fastest lap, which is a 28.3, but had to settle for 4th place. Still a strong showing. Meanwhile, Nico Suave and Brian Anderson continue to be champion relevant with top 8 finishes, proving that consistency may be the deciding factor in this season's standings. So let's go on to the track map here. This is Bathurst, Mount Panorama. I like to call it Mount Doom. It's in Bathurst, Australia. It is one of the longer tracks that we have in ACC, of being 6.2 kilometers or 3.8 miles and 23 turns. And we'll expect lap times around in the 59s to 2 minutes in qualifying. The lap record, though, is held by a Formula 1 car. Note that this is an official lap record, the 59.291. D1 guys are faster than these. So D1 guys are better than Jenson Button. Actually, I believe D2 can actually beat this time, so yeah. And it's going to be a cool race as well. It's going to be 16 to 17 degrees Celsius with a little bit of wind and maybe some moderate track temperatures as the drivers driving this race. And also, we did have a race real life, a GT3 race last week in the CI Intercontinental GT Challenge Bathurst 12 hours, which was run by a BMW. Won by BMW. Hope we see BMWs here take the win. Again, it'll be Art and Ethan Marvin in the BMW. So fingers crossed, they take the win. And yeah, this is a pretty wild track actually. We saw a lot of incidents in D1 yesterday, and you're probably also going to see a lot of carnage in D2. But then again, these cars have been unpredictable. Stuff can change, and this might be the cleanest division. As let's go on to the driver standings here. As we have Ivan McCrory in the championship. Actually, we got a Mustang first to fourth. 5 rounds into the D2 season 13, after so much stuff that's happened, Ivan McCrory has positioned himself as the most consistent driver and put himself at the top of the standings. However, Josh Damiani is only 12 points away from him. That's not a lot. That's like 2 positions, or actually more than 2 positions. I don't know. I cannot count. But yeah, it is a Mustang domination from like first to P6 with 1 Porsche in the middle. We also have Ryan Anderson, who's 40 points in P3. He is Josh's teammate. And they're probably going to be gunning it for the championship as well. So it's going to be interesting to see how well they do. And then we have Donovan Colton in P4 with another Mustang. And that rounds up the 300 points drivers. Then we have Kurt LeMay in the first non-Mustang with 275 points, followed closely by Nico Suave and the other Mustang. And then we can take a break from the Mustangs with Nick San in the first Lamborghini with 263 points. And then a bunch of Ferraris with Jason Allen, Paulie Hartman, Penis, and Roy Key, who has a lot of unlucky races. Still waiting for him to bounce back. Bathurst is a good track for the McLaren. Hopefully he does bounce back. And then we have the other Ferrari of Thomas Alhausen. And then we have the other Porsche of Jay Krause. There we go. That is a Porsche. I'm not tripping. And then we have our first BMW. We have Andre Velasquez. He is also, I completely forgot about him when I was talking about the BMWs, but there he is. Hopefully we see him put a performance like the BMWs from last week. I'm sorry, Corvette fans, but guess which car is in this game. And then we have Eric Boardman in P15. And he's the first of the sub 200 point runners, followed by Ian Byron with 179 points, followed closely by Louis Daniel, the other Lamborghini. Then we have Coach, who has had an unfortunate season. Hopefully he can bounce back. He has 169 points. Nice. And we have Max Diggs in the Porsche. And then we have Art, who had an amazing race last week at Zolder in P20. And Josh Worley, who's... We are back to Mustangs again with 156 points, followed by Austin Weiscarver, Matt Arden, Matt Higgs, Alex Troshek, and Mike Gino. Going on to page 2, we have Logan Schaefer, who I believe won't be showing up this race. I wish we see more Lexuses. We have Dustin Fickett, Brian Ryder, Ethan Marvin. Hopefully we see these two also shine. Ethan has been the most unluckiest racer in SRA so far. And Brian, I feel like he has more to show. And we have Michael Schwartz, Kevin Kovac, Andy Speed, Pavel Kreska, who had an amazing race last time in Zolder, Jared Seckham, Joe Sodry, Adam Santana, Cody Platt, and Doug, rounding up those with points. Let's go on to team standings. With Champions Motorsports leading decisively over OBDA, who is in second place, and the Altered Beast team in P3. The Porsche. It's not a Mustang. Note that. And then we have the first Ferrari with Twin Peaks with Penis and Thomas Holthausen. Then we have Champion Motorsport with Alex Rochik and Nico Suave. And then we have the first Lamborghini of Stickman Racing with Matt Higgs and Nick San. Then we have the Real Spacing team of Ivan McCrode and Doug Mitchell. They're only in that place because of Ivan Carrying. I'm sorry, Diego. And then we have Plan E with Jason Allen and Mike Gino. And then we have the other Champion Motorsports car with Dustin Fickett and Roy Key. And then Madhouse XTC8 with Brian Ryder and Andre Velasquez. And we should probably hop on to qualifying right now. Because guess what? Qualifying is happening. And I completely missed that. Oh, God. Alright. Give me a moment. Technical difficulties. There we go. Broadcasting camera. I need to sort this out. There we go. We got the relatives. And can you go to another car who's actually on track? Let's go. Yep, there we go. Art. Speaking of BMWs, we have a BMW on pole position. And also, we have peak visuals here at nighttime. Track only being lit up by the headlights, and it's high beam, so hopefully you got sunglasses. You're gonna need them. And then again, he's not improving. You know who has improving big time? We have Matt Arden. Or sole Audi this race. He is 1.5 seconds up on his personal best. That's not gonna be pole for him, but that's gonna moving up quite a bit in the field. We also have Thomas Althausen, who's also improving as he's come out of the cutting. What's this called? No, it's not the cutting. Give me a moment. I'm trying to find the track. The corner names. Where? The chase. There we go. As he puts his car up in P3. Matt Arden, I think he's improved ever so slightly. Yep, he has. He's only a little bit more than a second away from Art. Not a lot of silver drivers this race. We have more gold drivers than silver drivers here. Josh Worley improving as he is coming down to the final corner. Wonder what's it gonna put him. He's gonna put him in P2. That's good showing from Worley there in the Mustang. We also got Cody Platt improving as he's going down the back straight. The Conrad straight. There we go. I think I got that correct. But yeah, he could probably put this car in provisional pole. That's pretty clean from him. Yeah, I wonder how the pressure is gonna, you know, build up on these drivers as they come down the back straight, because you did the mountain so well. But you have 3 corners left to go, or 4, if you count the kink. And that's just gonna put so much pressure on you, because all of these curves have really tall curves, which could, you know, put you in a really bad shape. As Cody Platt goes P2, and he is improving. He's 2/10 up on his personal best. That is provisional pole if he can stick it, but not to say Art is improving, as we finally got someone on a mountain to look at. It's going to be interesting to see how flat he is, because it is only a fast track, and I don't think you can take it flat out even with quality fuel. But so it's all going to be a bravery game. You just got to trust the car. You just got to hope it can do these corners. It looks pretty clean from him, pretty tidy. He is going so close to the wall here. That sounded like a lock up there. It's just lost a drive for a second, but he's still improving, and he's improving greatly. That's 3/10 up on his personal best. That is surely going to cement his pole position. As my game just froze for a second there. I don't know what's happening. I think someone might have joined with delivery. We might see that in practice. Hopefully that doesn't affect the stream. And that's it. Yeah, Art is 3/10 up on his personal best, and that is gonna, as long as he nails the final corner, that is gonna put him in provisional pole, and that is gonna be his final lap, final attempt. Oh, he loses a 10th. That's still gonna be a good lap from him. He's down into sub 201s. Velasquez is following right behind the other BMW. He is not improving. Neither is Cody Platt. But someone who is improving is Thomas Alhausen, who is 6/10 up on his personal best. That could put him in pole if he nails it. And that, like I said, the final corners, they may look easy, but they're going to put a pressure on you. And that's where Art lost a 10th in the final corner. So there's a good chance, or there's a slight chance that Alhausen can blow it all in the final sector. But so far, he is looking clean. That's pretty beautiful. Let's go on to his interior cam for a second there. Let's see if he nails the final corner. Press it down, shifting. Nails the apex, nails the exit. And that's going to put him in provisional pole for the silver drivers. Yeah, not a single optimum lap. These are laps done by... These are laps done on fast track. So it's just kind of crazy to see what times they're getting on this lap track condition. That said, we have drivers who are out on their... Actually, you know what? You're not done with silver drivers here. If you have Andy Speed, who's 2/10 up on his personal best, that's going to put him at least in P6 if he nails it. Which looks like he's done, because he's getting ever so slightly, and that puts him in P7, right behind Mike Gino. It's like literally 100 behind him. Now we hop on to our goal drivers, and for Matt Higgs, he's going to be the first to start his lap. And now the track's on optimum. So yeah, it seems like the silver drivers just missed out on having an optimum track. Maybe if they had 2 more show up, maybe they would have had an optimum track. And yes, we only have 26 drivers, which I guess is considerably less compared to Zolder. But you know what's the good thing about this? He got dug. He was on an out lap, so we're not gonna. And he's back. He's a dad. Again, I think. So yeah, coming back to Matt Higgs, look at that. Wow, he's so unstable here. He's just pushing the car. Don't think it's gonna be representative of the lap, but it looks like his car's on the edge as he just scrapes that wall. Look how close he was. Yeah, that's a big lift from him. That's a huge lift. And behind him is... I'm trying to find who it is. Mueller? Yeah, that is this Mueller. Well, closely by a first Mustang of Brian Anderson. But I wonder who's gonna be the first to set the fastest lap, the fastest banker lap. Say. Let's just stick in Matt for now. Oh, actually, we had an incident. We had Josh Damiani, who I believe came super slow. He was blue flag. I believe he's blue flag, so he must have invalidated. But coming back to Higgs, that is really aggressive curbs. His car stays planted, which I don't expect the Lambo to stay stable after that curb, but apparently it does. So. And he's the first to set a lap. What is it gonna be? It's gonna be a. It's gonna be 2:02. But Mueller goes pretty fast. He's in P5 right now. And now we're seeing the gold laps come in. Is anyone gonna be faster than Mueller? We still have a couple of drivers on track. You're a championship leader, Ivan McCrow. I believe he's on a valid lap. Judging by how he's pushing, he is. That Mustang sounds amazing, even if it is the wrong audio note. We did not see any Mustangs in batters, at least not the GT3 ones. So, we're gonna see what a Ford Mustang is gonna do in probably its second home. Because V8 Supercars does race here and they do run Mustangs. As he goes straight to pole on his banker lap. That is crazy. We are seeing a lot of improvement here. We have Mueller, who's 3/10 up on his personal best. No, he's 4/10 up going into this Conrad straight, but he is slowly losing time. Did he have a bad exit there? Another person improving a lot is Brian Anderson. He is quite a far bit away from his teammate. Actually, wait, who is Brian's teammate? You'd think that, you know, I should know this by now. I believe it's Josh Damiani. Who hasn't set a lap yet, but he is flying. Gonna see what Mueller's gonna do. He's caught up to Matt Higgs. And that's gonna put his car up into P2. That's a good performance from Penis. Yeah, Paulie Hartman here. He's also improving a lot. Yeah, other Ferrari. Actually, it looks like the Ferraris are just strong here. Yeah, Ivan looks pretty strong in P1, but he's not improving, and a lot of people are. Yeah, Brian Anderson, he's in the mountains. Actually, you know what? Let's hop on to him, see how the mountains feel like from the Mustang. Let's see. If you go through the forest, oh, actually not the forest, but the cutting. This is the cutting, I believe. Let's see if he's flat. He doesn't seem to be flat here. Actually, he might be. But just look at him holding on for his dear life there. That's a big lift here. Another big lift. This one is lifting all cars. As he gets braved under brake as he just had a freeze there. I just synced a couple liveries, so it might be that. Gets on the power super early, runs super close to the wall. Let's see how he's gonna brake. This is a difficult braking zone because there's a dip. Low lockups, no funny business. That's a good brake zone here. He is almost second up on his personal best. That is gonna put him comfortably in P2 if he keeps it this way. As he go up to the Conrad Street, the drivers get a break before the cutting. For cutting? The chase. Why do I keep messing up the names? The chase. We have brakes at the 100-meter board. Looks pretty clean from him. A bit squirrely as he gets onto the curb. That goes wide. That's going to be his lap compromise, but doesn't matter. He's still a second up on his personal best. Slams under brakes, slows the car down. as he gets out of power super early and puts his car in P2. P2? No? Is that invalid? Oh, that's invalid. And I have to do that all over again. As we have Ivan Rickard finally improving. He's going to extend his gap a bit more. Let's see if he can get into the 59s. Yeah, it looked like Brian Anderson may have gone out of the track in the penultimate corner. So it is super unfortunate that his amazing lap had to come to an end that way. Speaking of improvements, we also have Jason Allen, who's 8 tenths up on his personal best. That's going to put him in P5. Wow, the Ferraris look super strong this race. Another guy's joined. That's another freeze for me. I don't think people are joining. I think that my game's just freezing. I don't know what's up here. Hopefully I can. It doesn't mean the end. It doesn't get worse. But then the Mustangs, coming back to the more Mustangs, we have Josh Damiani and Donovan Colton. All of them are improving. Colton only slightly. He is half a second up on his personal best. That is going to put him into P2 actually. So that's good performance from Colton. Same with Josh Damiani. He's also improving, but he has the whole downhill to go through. Wonder if he's going to brave it out and if he's going to push the car. Coming back to Brian Anderson, he was also improving, not as much as he was last lap. He's only 6 tenths up on his personal best, which is still not enough to put him into P2 where he would have been. But it does look like a clean and tidy lap from him. Let's see if he can get even more time in the final corner. Diego, maybe you are a D2 driver. I don't know, just saying. As Anderson goes into P3, that's a good lap from him. As Bueller actually takes P2 away from Colton, so that's that. Jason Allen and Colton. Colton is coming back at a vengeance. He's improving. He's a whole half a second up in his personal best, which if he sticks in this, he'll put him in P2 and maybe even pole position. But coming back to Jason Allen, who's also improving considerably. Where's that gonna put him? He's 3 tenths up on his personal best. He's gonna put him in P3. He's gonna put him ahead of Brian Anderson. But all eyes on Colton here. As he comes down to Chase, he comes down to Conrad straight. We go to Chase. Hard under brakes here. Super tidy, gets on the power a bit too early, might be invalid. Hopefully not. He's pushing it. That's cutting it close from it to, that's cutting it so close to him as he gets on power early, and that's just gonna put him in P3. Actually, he takes P3 away from Jason Allen. Could have been provisional pole, but P3 ain't that bad. As that wraps out qualifying for the gold drivers and D2 as a whole. Whew, as we, let's go back to the team standings. You didn't see that. Yeah. Where we stop? We stopped at P10, right? And then we have the other Porsche team of Jay Kraus and Kevin Kovac, with the other champion was with car of Paulie Hartman and Cody Platt. The Ferraris are strong this race. So are the BMWs in P13. Art and Marvin. Hopefully we see them shine again. And we have the Porsches and the Red Eyes as Aston Martin, with actually our only 2 Aston Martins that we have in D2, with Coach Michael Jeffries and Adam Santana. And then we have Danny Velez putting his car P16 with a solo entry. That's good performance from him. So is Josh Worley, who I believe got moved up from D3. And then we have Austin Weiscarver. And then we have Matt Ardem. These guys are solo runners. Logan Schaefer, solo runner. Michael Schwartz and Paul Kreskel, solo runners. And then we have our final 2-person team of Jared Seckham and Caleb Yarrington, which I guess is also a solo entry because I did not see Caleb for the whole season. And then we have Red Eyes, the final Red Eye team of Sodre. And that marks the people who actually lock points. I am not singing any song. You may hear me scream and sing, I don't know, when, you know, if everyone dies in the mountain, because I still have PTSD from the last time we did a race at Bathurst. Actually, let's go on to technical difficulties. Hectic. Oh.
30 seconds.
There we go. Race. 20 seconds. You guys can't hear the timers, but yeah, there we go. We got Ivan McCrone in pole position. I wonder if you're going to see any domination from him, or is he going to be challenged? You also have Mueller, who's put his Ferrari up. We got a strong showing from Ferraris in top 6. And then you got Donovan Colton in P3. And we have Jason Allen, who's put himself to P4. I'm sorry, Doug. I'm sorry, Diego. And we have Brian Anderson in P5, and then Thomas Holhazen in P6. So we got the full Ferrari roll lockout until P6. And then we have our first BMW in ARC. And we have Nick Sand in P8 and Velasquez in P9. Note that Thomas Holhazen is on pole for silvers, followed closely by Art. And then we have Doug in P10. We might finally see Doug do something this race. And then we have Cody Platt in P11 and Josh Damiani, who I guess is a disappointing qualifying for him, in P12. Then we have Paulie Hartman, Josh Worley, Nico Suave, Kurt LeMay, who I guess is also disappointing quality, but he is our first Porsche, so maybe the Porsche is struggling. Seems to be struggling on this track. We have Mike Gino, Andy Speed, and Kevin Kovacs. Austin Weiscover, our first and only Lexus this race. And yeah, Matt Higgs, who, judging by his lap, did not have a fun time driving the car. And then you have Max Diggs, following Higgs, followed by Artem. Actually, no, Dustin Fickard is ahead of Artem. I don't know why that changed, but it did. And we have Artem, Ian Byron, and then Louis Danivelos rounding up the grid. This is a short grid. And also, I believe we have Ilpo, who's joined us now. Ilpo Liavi.
Yeah, I have just arrived.
Welcome back. You just joined us for the start of this race. And yeah, I guess I can give you a short recap of the qualifying. Mustang and Ferrari seem strong.
I can see that this looks very much like a Ford versus Ferrari kind of situation at the top.
Yeah, not the track everyone expected, but I guess it's a street course.
From what I saw yesterday, the Ferraris actually have surprisingly decent top speed on the straights as well, so...
Yeah, the Ferraris, I believe they top out at 286 in Paul Ricard. I haven't seen what they top out at here, but it's going to be interesting to see in the speed traps.
It is also to some extent a question of how quickly they get there and not just how fast they go. Considering the Aston doesn't have the best of top speeds, but it doesn't actually feel that bad here for the top speed, because it gets there pretty quick. It just doesn't go that fast at the end.
Yeah, you're going to see a lot of straight line drafting. I believe we did see someone hit 290. I think it was Diego who hit 290. I don't know if he hit a wall soon after that, but we might see some insane top speeds in this race, especially from Weiscarver, because I know the Lexus can hit 290. I have hit 290 in the Lexus without draft. So it's going to be kind of interesting to see how fast a lot of these cars are. And I think the Porsches are going to get caught out from all of this.
Of course, we don't know what kind of setups people are running. They might not all be on low wing setup.
I guess it's safe to assume that most of these drivers might be on Hymo or Go, who is our partner, by the way.
Maybe, but you have to keep in mind that this track is very much a race about just getting it all the way to the end.
Oh yes, it's definitely a race of attrition, especially with the wall so close to you. As we are about to go green, I think the start is a bit later. And we go green with actually Mueller getting a good start over Marcode. Is he gonna send it around the outside? Maybe not. Jason Allen tries to send it around the outside of Colton. Did not work. As you're seeing cars go 2 wide and 3 wide here, we have Nick Sand and R going 2 wide with, I believe it's Doug following them closely. And this looks pretty nasty, but also Josh Damiani trying to slot in alongside Doug. Let's get 2 wide into the mountain section. Are they going to break apart or are they still going to be 2 wide? Still pretty clean from the driver so far, but we aren't in the thick of it yet. As all these drivers now going single file. Kurt Lamido, he's going to try sending around the outside of Hartman here. We have Josh Damiani overtaking Velasquez. Looks like Velasquez may have touched the wall there. Everyone has calmed down now. We have Matt Higgs also getting past Austin Weiscarver. And we're now entering Skyline, the downhill. It's going to be pretty interesting to say as we have Worley get past Cody Platt. As now they go 2 wide. No drama from the drivers.
For some extremely close calls with the wall at Skyline.
Yeah.
But luckily nothing happened.
Looks like they just kept it all clean, but then again, we're still in the mountains, and this is a hairpin after all. But actually, I believe everyone has survived.
Well, that's a massive improvement over D1 yesterday. We didn't even make the first corner.
Yeah, I remember MCM when all the M2s got us striked out. It's into turn 1 as well. Yeah, but it looks like it's a pretty clean start. We have actually, it looks like Ivan Marco just opened the gap to a whole second from Mueller.
And we have Gino going into the pits. The car looks somewhat damaged as well.
Oh, looks pretty damn. It looks like it's
It's some damage.
Oh, it's
not
up the
terrible.
rear. Yeah, it's in the rear. You might be taking
Yeah,
an
but
early stop to fix it though.
It didn't look like something that would force a repair, but obviously we don't actually know. And this strategy is to be played on this track, so.
Yeah, and considering that rear stability is going to be super important going into the mountains, especially if you set up the car to be on edge. A little bit of damage could mean the car's going to snap out in the high speeds as you go down the mountain.
So far, the fastest speed trap goes to Donovan Colton with 288.
Oh, we got
kph.
people touching the wall here. 288 kph, that is decently quick.
Yeah, there's every possibility they had to lift a little bit early because of traffic in front, so.
Oh, definitely. It looks like the gaps are starting to stay pretty decent. Never mind. You have Doug here on the bumper of Nick Sand. It's gonna be an easy pass for him. Doug has the straight line speed as he just completely blitzes past the Lamborghini going into chase. And actually, it looks like, I don't know if Nick gave up because Doug was so far ahead going into the braking zone.
And our spies in the pit lane are reporting that Gino did not repair any damage. The time stop was only 32 seconds, so that sounds like a normal pit stop.
Yeah, might have been just like get the clean air. It is gonna be super difficult to overtake on this track. Completely impossible to the mountain.
It depends on what car you're in, because you do have these long straights. So as long as you can get close, stay close, get a better exit, it's not one of the super hard tracks to overtake on.
You can
We
see.
saw quite a few overtakes yesterday.
I think we're gonna see overtakes primarily from one car this race, and that's gonna be the Mustangs.
We'll see, we'll see.
All right, keep me. I hope to be surprised as we got our first 290 this race with Donovan Colton. He holds the speed trap record of 290 kph. That is insane.
That is impressive. That's also quite a lot faster than any of the other Mustangs.
That is true. Kevin Kovac behind the other Porsche. Oh yeah, someone in the gravel. Doesn't look like it's too much in trouble. Who's that? Is that Paulie Hartman we saw in the gravel? Oh yeah, it just looks like he just lost the car there. Might have tapped the wall, but good thing that he stayed out of the barriers and out of any car's racing line here. That was super sketchy from him.
White Scarver has also gone for an early pit stop and actually came out from the pits right in front of Gino. They are nose to tail.
Yeah, they did like go. I believe Gino might have been ahead of White Scarver, so.
The pit stop times are completely identical.
Oh, we saw Kovac getting super slow here. What's happened here? Did he miss his braking zone? Oh, he tries to dive bomb and completely misses braking zone by running over the curb. He gets his car straightened out, loses one position, maybe two, actually just one. Just seeing so much close calls here.
Oh, it is Bathurst, so that is to be expected.
Yeah, but all close calls but no carnage, as yeah, Dustin Fickard in the pits. And
I think Pickard hit the wall on the previous lap. He was extremely slow after the dipper.
it's gonna be interesting to see how long he spends in the pits. Because we had Velasquez almost get past Nick Sand here. That bunches them up. They did go too wide into the entry of the mountain. And that just puts Josh Damiani ever so slightly closer to the BMW.
And Worley is sitting right behind them, watching just in case anything happens.
Yep. It looks like... Yeah, I feel like Velasquez might have picked up some damage from touching the wall slightly. Not a lot, maybe a second or two. That's not going to affect his pace too much, but it does accumulate. It's cuts, it's death by 1,000 cuts kind of situation.
Yeah, it does. It does. Cody Platt also seems to have some damage on the Ferrari. At least the rear looks a little bit second-hand.
Yeah. You have Porsche actually trying to overtake a Ferrari on a straight line. Must have been a good exit.
It worked all the way until he pulled to the side to try to overtake, and then it didn't work at all.
Yep. Oh wow, look, that car just flew through the chicane there. Yeah, we're seeing some pretty close battles already. That said, Ivan McCroat, he is in no man's land right now. 2 seconds up on Mueller. What's interesting is that we have Jason Allen in P3. He's gotten past Colton. And that is, I believe, Fickard, who's being a lap traffic as Anderson sends his past Colton. I wonder if Colton has damage or if he just misses opportunity to get past the lap car and just got capitalized on.
Yeah, Pickard had an extremely long pit stop. He must have repaired over 40 seconds worth of damage.
It looks like Colton is just going slow. He's losing a lot of time to Anderson. Does he have damage? I believe.
The car looks fine.
Yeah, he's holding on. Maybe he just got spooked as he goes so late on the brakes. Thankfully, he managed to get the car slowed down, but that is he's losing it. He's being so aggressive right now. We're going pretty wide. As you have Nico Suave also on the bumper of Kurt LeMay. Wonder if Nico can hold it onto the Porsche's bumper, but the Porsche is super agile here. The one part that the car is good at. As long as the driver does not die from liftoff oversteer.
I mean, it's not terrible on the straight. It's not the best, but I mean, you have enough speed to not get overtaken. You don't have enough speed to actually overtake anyone.
Yeah, it looks like Colton his car might be fine because oh, we got Worley. He's on the inside. Is he gonna try dive bombing past Josh Damiani? He does. He gives him a hip check. Leaves the space. He gets him flashing from Damiani. He's not happy about how he just got passed. That's going to be looked at by the stewards. But that is a brave move from him.
It looks like at the same time as that was going on, Diggs lost the position to Kovac.
Oh, got more flashing here. Everyone's getting angry. Look at the Porsche's flashing. That is epileptic.
Yeah, they have the new style flashers, which are extremely aggressive.
Yeah. As we have Lesko's, maybe this time he'll get past Nick Sand. Looks like it. He's gonna hug around the outside. No, he just gets the wash, and he's gonna get overtaken by Worley. Is Josh Damiani gonna capitalize on him going wide too? They're going too wide. He just backs out. It's probably safer for him going too wide into that corner. Suicidal, anyways.
That was extremely expensive attempt.
But Damiani did win in this game of chicken.
For now.
For now.
Right, it is Bathurst after all, so nothing is said until it's over.
Yep, it ain't over till it's over. But look, right now everyone has been pretty clean, looks by the looks of things.
Yes, this has been extremely good racing so far. Let's hope they manage to keep it up.
One thing I'm curious about is where is Fickert? He is ahead of Doug, who's in P8. And Doug is a pretty decent chunks behind Art, and so is Nick Sand behind him. That said, Art is on the bumper of Thomas Olhazen. As Maddox tries to look up the inside of Andy's speed, does not work out for him because that Porsche's got speed in it. Right now, looks like Colton still has the fastest speed trap of 290, which is absolutely bonkers. White Scarver is actually 289 from the Lexus, so that's pretty funny.
And Worley has 288, as has Arct.
Yeah.
That 288 from the BMW is actually extremely impressive.
I feel like the BMW does have decent straight line performance.
It's decent, but it isn't known as one of the fastest cars.
That's
It's also interesting how big the difference in top speed between some of the Ferraris is. Both Müller and Olhausen have only managed 283, while Jason Allen has managed 287 in the same car. Now, he probably had tow for that, but that's still a significant difference in top speed.
yeah, it definitely is. And it's like every kilometer per hour does count as well. So even if it's 1 second.
And it also depends, like I said earlier, it depends how late or early on the straight you reach that top speed. Some of the cars reach the speed earlier, but then stop accelerating towards the end, which can actually result in roughly the same amount of time spent on the straight. So it's not purely top speed.
Yeah, these cars do top out around, some top out even before 290. But Mustangs with their Daytona gearbox, they do have the extra straight line speed that they need to get past cars.
You're absolutely not going to get the Aston to do 290, no matter like even if you had an infinitely long straight, it would not. Actually, the only reason it does, I think it does like 284, 285 here. The only reason being that there's such a big downhill at the end of the straight. On a level straight, I think it would only do 282, no matter how long the straight is.
Yeah, I guess the downhill does improve the speeds a bit because this straight isn't as long as the Paul Ricard straight.
Right, right. But at Paul Ricard, there is actually a slight uphill at the end, so some of the cars stop accelerating when they reach that. Here you have a downhill all the way, and then even a steeper downhill right before the kink. Damian made a small mistake, and now Velasquez is right on him.
Yeah, I was about to say that every driver has either bunched up or is no man's land. And not a lot of moves for position.
Yeah, although on this track the gaps tend to change quite a lot and quite quickly, because even a small mistake can easily cost you, let's say, 3 or 4 tenths. Like if you make a mistake braking into the cutting, you can easily lose almost half a second with just that small mistake. So things change very quickly. Not to even mention if you manage to tap a wall.
Yeah, speaking of cutting, that's not even an easy braking zone because you're
No.
like you're gonna turn and then immediately get on the brakes and your car is gonna be so loaded.
It is extreme. It is actually one of the hardest braking zones on the track. I would say that and Forest Elbow. Both of those, at least in the Aston, tend to lead in. Like if you brake too hard, you get a lockup, and if you get a lockup, the car doesn't stop and it doesn't turn, and then you're completely screwed. I'm not sure if that's the case in all of the cars.
Oh! Yeah, Andy Speed here, he had an incident. What's happened here? Actually, take a look here.
I believe he got a small tap.
Oh, yeah, that is such a slight tap. It's not even enough to fully kill him.
No, I'm not even sure if that caused like any damage at all. It's such a light touch, but when the car is fully loaded and the rear is light, that's all it takes to get a massive slide.
Yeah, I believe that is gonna be a penalty for Matt Higgs if that gets reported.
I would believe so, because positions were exchanged.
Yep. Another driver who has been unlucky in this season so far is Matt Higgs. He picked up a lot of penalties for some of the weirdest stuff that he hasn't directly caused. But on the virtue of not holding brakes or reacting the wrong way to incidents, he has racked up a bit of penalty points. So, note to everyone, if you crash, hold your brakes.
Yes, that's very highly recommended.
But that said, Speed is not dead. He's behind Kovacs, which unfortunate for him. He's worked so hard to get past him.
I am surprised Kovac doesn't sit in the toe tighter, like he was almost half a car to the side there, because I do believe he would had a better exit from the corner, so he could have stayed with Cody.
Yeah, and it looks like he's not getting any closer to Ferrari, even with the as Kovac peels into the pits. And so does Speed. These two are taking the early pit stop. Yes, Speed's tires might be shredded with that spin. Actually, not shredded, but slightly damaged.
Yeah, I'm not sure if that's such a bad, because it was such a small slide, but you can quite easily, in these cold temperatures, depending on how you're running your tires, and brake ducts, you can quite easily blister a tire with the slide, and that really sucks.
Oh, that was almost a move from Paul Hartman and Matt Higgs. He just washed ever so slightly as he tries to send it around the outside. Is it me or is that corner cambered? Seems like a lot of drivers, if they go slightly wide, they go completely wide. But I feel like the edges, the end of the track is slightly cambered. But
I mean, are there any corners on this track that aren't cambered one way or the other? it is. I mean, it is a public road after all, so it is very bumpy and not really designed as a racetrack. So some of the corners are kind of weird.
well, I guess even for public roads, I've seen these roads do seem to have better track quality of roads than some racetracks I've seen. So
Yes, it's quite common that public roads that are used as part of like a street circuit do tend to get repaved quite often to keep them in a decent shape. But I mean, we all know how bumpy this track is because it is still a public road and it's built to public road standards and not racetrack standards. So
yeah.
there is the infamous bump going in the skyline.
Oh yeah, the bump that when I was learning this track, I always braked on, and you probably can expect what happened after that.
Right. And the inside dip with the massive camber in Forest Elbow is actually so steep that you almost unload completely the inside front tire just because of how the road is shaped when you go into the braking. And that is part of the reason why it is so easy to lock up there. Also, there is a bump on that corner entry as well.
Yeah, I feel like this track is designed only for older race cars and now V8 supercars, just because they have the suspension travel to actually take these bumps like with full contact to the ground, and not modern GT cars.
Well, the GT cars seem to be doing pretty fine.
They do, yeah.
I don't know if you were watching the real life Bathurst 12 hour, but it looked like even the latest generation cars are doing pretty okay on this track.
Oh, they are for sure. Also, Diego did say this in chat. Get Jason off the podium. I don't know. It doesn't look like I have any hitmans on standby right now, so deal with it. Oh, we got an overtake.
Our team comes out from pits behind Gino. I'm not sure if that's just because that's where he was, or... No, no repairs. The only one who has spent more time in the pits is Fikert. Or Fikert.
And he is a good chunk. Oh,
Everybody else has spent exactly the same amount of time stopped and within 1 second for the whole pit lane.
what happened here? Looks like he's just gone straight at the wall in slow motion. But that is a pretty damaged front end. You have more people coming into the pits. You have Thomas, you have All Hazard, Doug, Nixhan, Nico Suave, Matt Higgs, Cody Platt. They're all coming into the pits. Wonder if they're reacting to traffic or to undercuts, or are they just stopping to get out of get out of traffic. And I don't think any of them has damage, by the way.
Yeah, we'll keep an eye on the pit stop times as they come out.
Coming back to the only battle we have on track, it is for the podium with Mueller and Jason Allen. For once, we see not a Mustang domination, despite the leader literally being a Mustang and 4 seconds ahead of these guys, but we'll let that slide.
So all the cars that pitted have exactly the same amount of time stopped, and the total pit lane time is within a second or so for all of them. So nobody repaired anything, and everybody's just doing their mandatory pit stop. So I'm guessing that you were just either trying to undercut, and it just happened that multiple of them had the same idea, or they were reacting to the driver ahead undercutting and trying to make sure they are covering that.
What a entry from him. I wonder if the stewards are gonna take a look at that pit entry from Mueller.
I believe the rule for the pit entry was that you only need to keep 2 tires inside the white lines at all times, so you can cut quite a lot through the corners if you so feel.
Alright, you heard it, chat. Not a lot of battles going on. You have Matt Higgs, was he always behind anti-speed? I believe not, right? He kind of gave him a love tap.
I'm not sure.
Yeah, anti-speed got taken out by Matt.
Right, so he must have lost some positions to fall back there again.
Or was it his teammate Diggs that got taken out? So one of them.
No, it was definitely Andy who got punted into that slide. We have people coming out from the pit. Let's see if there's anything spicy going on.
Doesn't look like it, but we do have a pretty tight pack going right now. Maybe this might be even closer with Art and Doug. I wonder how early you can push in a mountain with new tires on. And that's gonna catch out and catch anyone off guard.
I mean, most of the corners that are really hard on tires are not at the beginning of the lap, but it's still... I didn't feel like this was a particularly hard track to drive on, like, on the outlap. But that might also depend a little bit on your car and your setup, and I mean, there's also the question of what kind of brake ducts and cold tire pressures people are running, because it is rather cold.
Ooh, we're gonna get moved from Doug. Oh, that's so close. Arc reacts and runs wide, and Doug gets past him. I don't think there was any contact there, and looks like Arc may have just ran wide. Worthy follows through. I was kind of expecting an I-bomb, but I did not expect this to go this way, but here we are. Ooh. Oh yeah, here Nick Sanan versus Kevin Kovac.
And quite a queue of cars behind them as well.
Yeah, they're all going to be keeping an eye on this battle, and that's going to bunch up the pack even more. Yeah, it just looks like Nick has the slight edge over him. In this pack, we have Kevin Kovac, Kasami, Paulie Hartman, Andy Speed, all slightly backed by Matt Higgs. So it is a pretty decently sized group. You have Josh Worley on the bumper of Doug. He says it's going to be enough for him to try to get past him.
It was really close, but made a small mistake on the exit of Forest Elbow and then the Mustang power did Mustang things.
Yeah. Doesn't look like there's gonna be a dive bomb from him, but
That goes defensive anyway,
yeah.
and that pulls Arcs back into the proximity.
Yep. Yeah, Kevin Kovac trying to sit around the outside of Nick Sand here. SRA got contact! And Kevin Kovac spins. Have Hartman also get past Nikosavi here? What happened here? I wonder if Kovac cut across Nick. Was it like a moving under braking that caught Kovac out and put him under a spin? Or because it looked like there was space on the outside. What do you think about that, Ilpo?
I didn't see the incident, so I'm not sure. I was watching what's happening with Doug, Worley, and Arct.
I guess I can try going back. Oh, it already happened. I just missed it slightly.
Yeah, it's really hard to get the replays.
Just gotta time it perfectly, and I timed it slightly imperfectly. But coming back, this has this PAX 2 is strong, as now we have sunlight in Skyline. That is gonna be super annoying, I believe.
It is extremely annoying. I'm not sure how it feels like on like a flat screen, but at least in VR it was incredibly annoying the whole time.
Oh, I can
Like
imagine.
the whole second part of the race, you can't see anything when you're braking in Skyline. Oh, that goes really defensive against Worley. Worley
Oh,
gets it
that
done.
works. That's a beautiful overtake from him. Art is also right on the bumper of Doug here. And looks like Doug managed to keep Arc behind for now.
Worley is 6 positions up from where he started. I think that's one of the biggest climbs. And I think that might be even bigger because Byron hasn't pitted yet, and I have a feeling he's gonna be behind.
Yeah, Ian Byron did not have a good start, good qualifying. Also, Artem got past Gino. And also, Jason Allen got past Mueller in the pits. Oh. That's a good overtake from Hartman in on Nico. How is a Ferrari overtake a Mustang on a straight?
Well. Well, if we look at the stats, Hartman has exactly the same speed trap speed as Nico Suave. They both have hit the speed trap at 287. So I'm guessing there might be some differences in setup wing.
Oh, for sure.
Worley is running away from Doug really fast. I have a feeling he might catch Olhausen before this is over.
Olhausen is putting a decent pace. He's fast. Last lap was a 1.5. Or at least last lap was a 02.02 dead, but might improve because he did have to make an overtake.
Yes, I'm almost certain he's gonna improve with that. Also, the fastest lap has gone to Donovan Colton, who has taken the fastest lap away from Ivan McRoth by the slimmest of margins, but hey, every millisecond counts.
Yeah, that for sure. As currently mega super wide, and this overtakes as well as. Mueller is caught up to out of here.
So Worley's last lap was a 201.382, which is one of the fastest laps of the whole race. There are only 3 drivers, I believe, maybe 4, who have done a faster lap. But at the same time, Olhausen got the hurry up and did a 201.560. So the gap is closing, but it isn't closing as fast as it might have been earlier.
Go on board with Andy Speeder. Well, let's see how the sunlight looks in the mountain. Oh my god, that must be super painful. That's like the whole of Skyline.
It's absolutely awful.
But it's a beautiful sunrise though. Sun on the horizon of the mountains.
I mean, ACC looks absolutely incredible sometimes at sunrise and sunset. Unfortunately, it does mean that on some tracks like this one, you have corners where you cannot see anything. And on this track in particular, it happens to be probably the hardest place on the entire track. Doesn't make it very easy.
Yeah, and I have maxed out the graphics as well, so this is like the most you're gonna be, the best detail you're gonna see, unless you have something like HDR.
No, Higgs was sitting right on the speed, but made a mistake, and that's gonna take a little bit of time to catch back up.
He may have the speed on speed, but he is not speed. Also, we are still going strong. We have only dropped 1 driver this whole race, and that is Dustin Fickert, I believe.
Yes. So looking at the speed trap data, Colton has improved and now has the fastest speed trap at 292 kph.
And it doesn't look like he was following anyone.
He's the only one who has gotten above 290. Nobody else has done even 290.
Is he not running max wing?
I mean, probably not if you ask me.
Donovan is on 2 wing? 2 wing and the car that doesn't even turn?
Well, I mean, I guess that would help it turn if you take the rear aero out.
Let's take a look at how fast he's going. 281, 34, 7. Oh wow, look at how squirrely his car is under braking. Just because he touched that curb. Yeah, that is 2 wing for you. You get speed, but at what cost?
There's some gaps that seem to be closing, which is nice. It is nice that it's not just becoming people running away from each other.
Yeah, I feel like this battle here has bunched up the pack pretty decently.
And Ivan McCroat must have noticed that somebody stole the purple lap from him, and he's gone and done better, and now has the purple lap again.
Yeah, it's been a pretty.
201.127.
Yeah,
I will believe that will still be broken in the race. So I pitted on lap 2, I believe it was, so maybe lap 3, and I was still getting better lap times on the final laps of the race. On this track, it feels like the weight of the car, the fuel load, is more significant than what you lose in tire performance. So I would suspect that they will go even faster.
yeah. Look at how much speed he's carrying. That was like some of the left-handers was absolutely flat for him.
Yeah, I suppose if you don't have any rear grip, the car is actually gonna turn.
And you know what's the insane part? He's 3/10 up on his personal best.
Yeah.
He might break into the sub 201s here. Which is absolutely crazy. I feel like he just got bored of running away with the lead and decided to... Oh, we got an incident here. What's happened? Oh, no. Oh, no. Oh, he saves it. Oh,
That was close.
oh that was so close. And everyone, he just waited for everyone to get past because a slow car in Skyline is extremely dangerous. He is incredibly respectful by him there. And also confirmation, yes, Ivan Rickrod's fastest lap is at 2:08. Oh, you got it. Seems like Nick San just got on the brakes later here and kept ahead of Nico Suave.
The gap between Worley and Olhausen is still closing, and I think at this rate it is gonna be nose to tail before the end of the race. Whether an overtake is in the cards, we'll see. Worley's Mustang is significantly faster in a straight line, so if it does catch up, he has a pretty good chance of getting past.
And countering that, oh, Nico Suave finally got past Nick San here. Countering that, Olhausen is closing in on Colton. But we know Colton's on 2 wings, so I guess it's gonna be nigh on impossible to pass him on a straight line, even with slipstream.
Yeah, and I'm not sure if he's like genuinely closing over time. Colton had a really poor previous lap. He was over a second slower than his best, so he must have made a significant mistake. Although it is possible with only 2 wings, his rear tires might not be in the best shape.
Yeah, and especially the more it wears, the more swirly it gets and the more confidence he loses in the car,
Yeah.
which would naturally slow him down.
It looks like Kovac had some kind of moment again. We had brief yellow flags on top of the mountain.
He is not having a good race. A lot of scary race. I wonder if it's a code brand movement, quite literally, with how many incidents he had.
I mean, that's the unfortunate nature of this track, is that you can be having a good race and then it takes one mistake and it can turn into a complete disaster.
Speeds in a Lamborghini sandwich.
I'm surprised Higgs didn't get the run on Andy Speed there when Andy went wide on the exit from the final corner. Usually when you go on the grass and gravel there, it really kills your exit speed, but for some reason it didn't.
I believe these two teammates are working together to help Matt get past Andy.
It's not gonna be easy on this track.
Oh, so close for Matt there.
Also, there's significant risk for San to lose his position to Andy, because looking at the trap speeds, Nick San has only managed 281, while both Andy Speed and Matt Higgs have managed 286.
Oh yeah, that is definitely a risk, but Nick has crashed! Nick has crashed! Andy's crashed! And Matt has crashed too!
Higgs
It's
spun
got so
trying to
terribly,
avoid
and
it.
they blocked the road! There's gonna be a traffic jam here with Velas also hitting them. That is terrifying. As Andy's gonna reverse into them, that is absolutely terrifying. Let's go back 30 seconds. And maybe this camera will show us better.
Velas has catastrophic damage.
Oh, looks like Nick has touched the wall and they all spun around, and Matt and Andy has basically occupied. Oh, no wonder Velas has so much damage. He just went straight into that Lamborghini's
Yes.
bumper.
His steering is almost 90 degrees off. I'm surprised he made it all the way down the mountain with such terrible damage on his car, but that was very unfortunate.
Yeah, it looks like Nick has just clipped the wall and just put his car in the spin, and there wasn't much anyone could do at that stage.
Yeah, and it was made significantly worse that when Higgs was trying to avoid it and had to brake, he lost control and spun into the wall himself, and that added to the blockage of the road.
Yeah, it looks like Higgs and Velas have looks like Higgs has RTG'd and Velas has driven back to the pits, and Speed is I think he might have come out the best out of this incident just because he was in the corner of the track. He only got tagged once. No one else ran into him. As All Hazard got past Worley. What's happened here? Oh, All Hazard goes super wide. He also hits the wall. Oh my god, it's all going downhill, quite literally. And Worley gets past All Hazard, probably the easiest move he has made in his life.
Maybe, but quite potentially also one of the scariest. Anytime you're on the mountain and you hear yellow flag in sector 2, it's a code brown moment. And you start looking for those waving yellow flags and hope that you can spot them before you spot whatever is blocking the road.
Yeah, oh, for sure. And also, I forgot to call out to this, but Brian Anderson has caught up with the Ferraris in second and third. So it's going to be a three-way fight for P2. Only two of these drivers are going to get the podium. Actually, considering how this race has been going, neither of these drivers might get podium, but yeah. Also, Nick Sand's still in his race. Yes, he is coming into the pits. I feel like his car is completely destroyed. What the hell's wrong with the camera there? Yeah.
Looks like Doug Mitchell is slowing down, lost some pace. Arkt and Damiani are right on him now and have been for a couple of laps.
Yeah, not a fast lap for Doug. He is the first of the drivers in the top 10 to be under the be above 202. He's actually set a 202.3, and both Art and Damiani are faster than him, but it's not easy to pass him.
No. Although there's... Oh, Damiani taps the wall.
Looks
There's-
fine.
There's blue flag traffic, which might change the situation slightly, but remains to be seen.
Yeah, I believe ahead of him is Velez, and yeah, it looks like it's just Velez,
Yep.
who I believe will just back out of the way considering he has fixed his car. He is in dead last place. Well,
Yes, the problem is that it's very hard to judge when, because you don't want to start like, it's quite annoying to start backing out when there's a 5-second gap, right? But if you don't know what lap times the other guys are doing, it can be really hard to tell, like, how close do you want to let them get before you start backing out. Damiani fell a little bit behind after that wall tap.
yeah, yes, it is well, Doug has started to get into the 201s.
We also had a short yellow near turn 1. I wonder if that was for Colton.
Yeah, because Worley's right on the bumper of Colton. He is absolutely flying now. And that was that
Yeah,
a flash?
It must have been Colton, because Colton's current lap is extremely slow
Oh,
up to this point.
Colton slides wide into the wall. That must be his tires giving up from the rear wing.
Yeah, it looks like he has no rear grip. When he slid into that wall, that was just like a complete rear drift, no rear grip kind of moment. So close to the wall again.
He's just struggling for grip right now. Oh, wow. Look at how much he's struggling.
But it's also difficult for Wally because you have to be so careful when you don't know exactly where the car in front is gonna brake.
Also, you got confirmation that Colton hit the wall in, I believe, the opening corners in turn 1.
Yeah, I saw a yellow there, but I didn't see what happened.
As you can see that even with the low wing, he's just completely getting mugged by Worley. That is a lot of damage for him.
Yeah, no top speed at all. Also, and the speed crashed into 2.
That's unfortunate. Coming back to Colton, we can see his bonnet flapping, his hood flapping about. It must be some front end damage, which is severely impacting his straight line speed.
Oh, that's really bad news for him, because Olhausen is only 3.5 seconds behind, and I think Colton is over a second down on his lap time now.
Yeah.
Hard to say because the previous lap was a bit messy, but it doesn't look good.
And you have 10 minutes left in this race, which has started to unravel itself.
Yeah, I believe we have 5 laps remaining, including this one.
Also, a little fact about Worley, he got promoted from D3. And he's in P5. And he's leading silver, so
Yes, so having seen him race before, I know that this is one of his strong tracks, like really strong track for him. So that's not really necessarily a massive surprise that he's doing so well.
our arc has hit the wall here.
Colton is really struggling.
Oh, wait. Struggling?
On top of
there we go.
Skyline, he's already a second down on his lap time. I think Olhausen is gonna catch him in like 3 laps, maybe 4 laps. So at least 1 lap before the end of the race.
Yeah. I wonder how much damage Art has. Is he also struggling from detrimentizing cuts kind of situation here? Yes, he did tap the wall a couple of times. But he has to run over Damiani here.
I wonder if McRoth is kind of holding position, because he's doing good lap times, but like the gap isn't really increasing significantly. Well, now it is actually, just as I say that, but it is still only 5.5 seconds. It looked like he would just completely run away, but that hasn't happened. Also, Anderson is catching Muller.
Looks like they might have backed away from. They might have peeled off because it was less than a second gap between Allen and Mueller.
Well, it's still roughly 1 second, but it feels like Muller is maybe unable to stay there, and he's now kind of a little bit too far to get full toe on the straights.
Okay.
Meanwhile, Anderson is definitely getting closer to Muller.
Actually, Anderson's last lap was 3/10 slower than Mueller's.
Yes, but the gap was... They were not close earlier. They are close now.
Yeah, it
so.
looks like Mueller might have run super wide. Oh, and it looks like Olhausen is not catching Colton up fast enough. Oh, wow. Anderson loses it. He goes into the wall. He's parked the car. That is an unfortunate place to be on Skyline.
He's got
fully-
like 15... Oh no,
Oh,
he could have
no.
driven away. He had 15 seconds before the next car would have arrived. That's very unfortunate.
It is.
But yeah, he tapped the left wall before the entry, which is kind of funny because it was like... You're not even really turning there. But that was enough to unsettle the car.
And that has,
So how did this train behind Olhausen happen? Now Doug Mitchell, Arc, and Damiani are right on him.
look at, Olhausen has a lot of damage in the front.
Oh, actually, yeah, this car, I mean, even the rear doesn't look very good.
So, wonder what happened to Olhausen here, because Doug just easily, like, dives him. And it's gotta be close for him.
Must have made a big mistake somewhere. That car looks absolutely trashed on both ends.
Yeah, and, it looks like our podium for now has consolidated itself as McRoad, Allen, and Miller. Then again, P4 just died. Things can't change.
Ark just sent it on Damiani into the last corner when they were both being held up by this train.
Well, Arc was ahead of Damiani. Was
Yes. It was the other way around before the corner. I'm not sure what it was before that, but before the final corner, they were the other way around.
Yeah, it looks like this is the only battle we have right now. Aside from these two cars being alongside each other, but then again, they're both sitting in the pits. Unfortunate for them. And I wonder, we know Josh Damiani likes to risk it for a chocolate biscuit at the end of the race. We saw in Misano. Is he gonna do it again? Because he only got 5 minutes left, and that's around 3 more laps.
I don't think he has... I'm not sure he has any chance to do that, because Ark's top speed is extremely good.
Yeah, the BMW is one of the
So-
faster cars here.
Despite the terrible damage and really slow previous lap, Olhausen is still catching Colton, and they are gonna be nose to tail before the end of the race unless something significant changes.
You have Colton here, and you can see them in the distance. Doug is gonna send it past Colton, Olhausen, and he does. Gets ahead of him even before I see go to the first chase. Olhausen gets on. Oh wow! Oh shit! That's gonna be a. I'll apologize for my swear, but that's gonna be a dive bomb from Josh Damiani here. We need to see that from Helicam. That's a lot to take in. Olhausen gets.
I'm not sure if it was intentional, but Olhausen was dragging his brakes slightly on the straight. Like,
Oh, okay. Wonder what happened. I wonder what he's doing. But that was.
it didn't look like it was intentional because he was doing it already like well before the braking zone. So he might have had a pedal calibration issue or something, or maybe he just wanted to let the cars by. I don't know.
Yeah, but what was insane was the aggressive dive bomb from Damiani. It looks like he just did not get on the brakes early enough and just completely runs into him and spins himself out.
But now Doug is definitely gonna catch Colton. Colton's last lap was a 2037. Doug's last lap was a 2024, and that included having to do that overtake and everything, so the gap is only 1 second.
Paul Yardman here, he just drops the car on that curb. Does he keep it out of anyone? Looks like it. But that is the worst spot you could be, facing the wrong way.
I mean, it's not the worst place. The worst place is roughly like a tipper or so, because the track is narrower there, but it is a terrible place. I do agree with that part.
Yeah. But looks like he managed to get out of that corner unscathed, so good on him. As Doug is within a second of Colton, but is that getting close enough to get past him? Because we have 2 more laps in this race to go.
Yes, unless McCrow decides to slow down. I think he has just about enough of a gap to maybe, but I don't think he's gonna do it.
It's
I
gonna be
think
pretty risky.
Yeah, and I mean, unless he feels like, I mean, why wouldn't he? He probably has enough fuel because he's been leading the race. He knows his own pace. He should have done the math. So why not?
Yeah, I wonder how that's gonna catch other drivers, because he just crossed the line.
We had I believe we had one driver run out of fuel on the final lap yesterday. So hopefully nobody is in that place today, because it is really sad to survive for an hour of Bathurst only to run out of fuel.
The most anticlimactic way you can DNF.
Saddest possible way.
Pit window is now closed.
Doug is right on Colton's tail now.
Yeah, this looks like Doug has such a commanding speed over that. As he just backs up super early, he knows that he can stay close behind Colton and decides to play it safe.
The problem is it's still gonna be difficult to overtake on the straight because Colton has insane top speed.
But he probably also has front end damage, and that's gonna slow him down.
But does he have enough damage to slow him down enough?
Well,
I'm not sure
we
about
did see
that.
Worley just blitz past him, so he might have.
Okay, the leader is on the final lap now. Give it all you can.
Doug is closing in. He is closing in. This is gonna be a dive bomb from Doug. Doesn't look like it. The Mustang is so close to him. This is such a bad camera angle. That wing is so huge.
And now Arct is in the fight as well.
And this is, I wonder if this is gonna change stuff. Are these drivers are gonna be elbows out for the final lap? Doug is pretty close by. I feel like he can get past him in turn 2. And it gets a better run on him, so he might just be able to outdrive Colton. Colton's gonna fight it because he knows that if he can stay ahead of Doug here, he probably can bag up P5. As he breaks late, and he stays ahead of Doug here. But the battle's not over yet. They have one more straight to go, but in the whole mountain section to survive.
I think the problem Doug has is that he seems to be worse coming out from Forest Elbow. Like, he doesn't seem to get the good exit that Colton is getting, which means that he spends most of the straight just catching up instead of getting alongside.
Colton's so slow in the corners. Doug tries to look up the inside. That's a mistake, I guess, but that might spook Colton into running wide. Looks like Doug is just toying with Colton here, just trying to like ease up the move as he bumps into Colton there.
That might put the Arct into play.
There might be netcoding, but we have Arc here. Is this gonna be the final move of the race for Arc and Doug? Is there gonna be any aggressive dive bombing going into chase?
Colton is defending for sure.
And looks like Colton might stay ahead of Doug here, and Doug might in turn stay ahead of Arc. That's a great defensive driving from Colton here. I saw he completely missed out on the winners of this race and the podiums, but that's going to be an amazing finish to the race for Doug, Colton, and Art. Coming back.
That was definitely a fight worth watching.
For sure. And coming back to the winner, it is Ivan McCrow. This is his second win of the season, and an absolute dominating drive from him this race. Followed in P2 and P3 by Jason Allen and Penis Mueller. Ooh, and Josh Worley as well. Gotta give props to him. He finished, I believe, P4. After Anderson crashed in the mountain. So, what an amazing race this was.
Yeah, not too many overtakes. I mean, we had a few, but not a massive amount, but lots of close fighting, which is always good because this track isn't known to be exactly great for that.
This might have been one of the cleanest Mount Panorama races I've ever witnessed until the final 15 minutes. Still, probably is part of the cleanest races because these guys are so well behaved in the start. No drama, no contact whatsoever, and then as the race kept dragging, I guess the T kicked in. Maybe the sun was in their eyes because most of the incident was in Skyline. What an amazing race this was.
Yes, and most of the incidents were just like driving mistakes on their own rather than hitting someone, which is always nice. I mean, unfortunately, some people got caught out in a pileup, but that is kind of unavoidable sometimes.
Yeah, and it's like a domino effect as well, because the incidents we saw between the between Matt Higgs, Andy Speed, and Nick San, they were blocking the road, and it's like Velas has nowhere else to go.
Yeah, that was unfortunate.
And it's not like there was any aggressive moves. It's just Nick just clipped the wall ever so slightly and just put him in a spin.
Yeah, I mean, it was just a pure driving mistake.
Yeah.
Not even like making a mistake and hitting another car, but just a pure driving mistake and ending up in a wall, and then things went downhill very quickly.
Yeah, definitely. Anyways, guess we have let's just go on the interviews real quick, because we have Jason Allen. He's gonna be doing the post race briefing, so I'm just gonna abduct him now before we send him back. Jason, you have been kidnapped and you're in the commentary booth. You have us.
Hello.
Hey.
Good evening.
Congrats on getting P2. Your Diego's absolutely fuming right now, but you absolutely drove the hell out of this race. How do you feel?
I feel great. My only goal for this race was to survive and beat Nick San. Did both of those things. This one goes out to my haters. Diego, love you. And Coach Jeffries, who I actually like but is a hater. But really proud. The team in the voice chat was great as well. No complaints.
I wonder if admins can show bias here. Seems a bit unbiased. I'm going
to give Ivan a 5.4 second penalty as well, just so everyone knows. So, as your race winner, very very honored to be your race winner this week.
Did he have like any like stuff going into the setups, like any? Like, did you run low wing? Were you run max wing? Were you just focusing on surviving, or is you actually gonna go all out?
I was using the Go setups. Thank you to Go, our incredible sponsors. Adjusted the aero a little bit to make it safer, because I really struggle with just not even just on this track, but any track, just keeping myself alive. So I just wanted to treat this as an endurance stint and just keep the car not on the wall. I don't think I had any damage this race, which I'm really proud of. So that was the mission, and it just so happened I finished in second.
Not a bad endurance stint, considering you didn't have Michael to carry you. But yeah, congrats on the P2.
Yes, and then speaking of, you're all invited to lose to me in the 6 hours of Paul Ricard again.
Oh, okay. Is that a challenge?
Michael is my teammate again, and we are beating all of you.
Oh. Bold.
Yep.
But yeah, really proud. And also D2 had a clean race for the first time in a while. And that's I know towards the end it popped off, but the first like 40 minutes of that were excellent. So
yeah, no lap 1 incidents whatsoever.
I know. I'm really proud of our group. We needed that.
All that yelling and private briefing must have worked.
It did. They really listened this week. Yesterday too as well. So we're on the up.
There you go. Oh boy, you got anything to ask him?
No, I'm just digesting these comments about the endurance race. We'll see.
Let that sink in. Let that marinate, and let's hold up to him.
I'll see you there, Ilpo.
When he inevitably crashes in Signing Curve.
Yes, and then if Diego's there, I'm beating him too. That guy's not very good at the video game.
I
so
think Diego will beat you up, like literally on track. He'll just crash and take you out.
This one was for Diego.
All right, there you go. Race podium dedicated to your number 1 hater, Diego. Actually, you scored more points than him this race, so yeah, congrats.
Yep.
And
he ain't seen a podium in a minute.
Yep. And we're not gonna hold you here any further unless Ilpo has anything else to say, because I believe you're running the post-race briefing.
Austin, rest in peace. So I'm doing it for his substitute.
All right, we're gonna send you back. GG's.
All right, thanks guys.
Congrats. Okay, thank God he's gone. Oh yeah, we have the endurance coming up, the 6 hours of Paul Ricard, and I believe 2 weeks, if I can look at my calendar right in front of my eyes. A little over 2 weeks.
Yeah, a little over 2 weeks.
So yeah, remember to sign up. I think this is the penultimate round of the endurance series, or
I believe that is correct.
so.
Let me check. Yes. So we have the Paul Ricard in 17 days from now. And then on March 29th, we have the final round at Indianapolis.
Oh, disgusting.
It is actually a good track for endurance.
I guess. I mean, it is the only race that runs there is the 8 hours of Indy as part of the ICGT Championship, the same ICGT that raced last week in Bathurst, just for different cars. But yeah. Anyways, coming back into the interviews, let's actually pull our. Who do you want to go? You want to go third place or first place?
I mean, I guess we could go third place and then first place last.
All right, let's pull up Penis. Philip Ennis Mueller, congrats on the podium. We have you in the commentary booth. You have us.
Yes, sir. Hello, hello.
Hello. Congrats. First of all, congrats on the podium. This is such a big turnaround for the rest of the season. You almost beat Jason.
I wish I could have, but I kind of blew my pit stop. So, next time.
Next time. Also,
Yeah.
Ferrari 2-3. How did the car feel in the mountain?
So, sketchy, of course. I'm sure everything does. Because I was running different setups for quali and race. Obviously, as you do when you're in a field full of Mustangs, you need to worry about top line speed, right? So quali setting, max wing feels great, right? P2 qualifying lap, I was super happy with that. Race 8 wing, I was just trying not to die, honestly.
You have like any? Were you running any specific setup?
No, I typically make my own.
Oh, okay.
Just because I've tried. You either get setups from a service or you get setups from the aliens. I've downloaded Timothy Flamger's Ferrari 296 setups. I just can't drive them. It's a skill issue. I have to make my own.
Well, is it a skill issue because Tim can't make a drivable setup, or is it because you can't drive his setup?
No, I don't know how he does it. Those cars are so on the nose, and he manages to get through corners faster than I ever can and not die. I don't know.
That said, do you have any shout outs you want to give for the race?
I guess shout out to my teammate who's in the midst of a silver championship battle. He ran into some trouble up and over Skyline, got himself 30 seconds worth of damage, but still had a decent result. And yeah, no, this is going to be a tight championship fight for him coming down to the end.
Well, assuming your teammate is Thomas Olhausen.
Yes, sir.
For 30 seconds, he did hold off pretty good. He was fighting against Worley, and then I believe he took his damage before getting completely blitzed by the Mustang, but he did do a decent enough race to finish where he did finish.
Yeah, he got kind of gobbled up at the end. He was saying he was down on straight line speed. So for example, when Doug passed him on the back straight, he got him even before the kink. It was a little ugly. And I think there was an incident as well. Damiani was involved, but everybody survived. We're fine.
Yeah, you guys at least saw the checkered flag, unlike some of the incidents we've seen.
Oh, no. The mountain is cruel sometimes.
Yeah, Ilpo, you have anything to say?
I mean, no, I think you covered pretty much. I was curious about the setup things, but yeah. You already discussed that.
Sweet, yeah.
Yeah. No, thank you guys for hosting the race as always. As someone who does it myself, I know it's a sacrifice to come in and put in 2-3 hours of work every day. But you guys are awesome for doing this.
Oh, you're also a commentator, so
yes, I know how it feels.
Yeah, we have been going a little under 2 hours now, so yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Thanks for support, and likewise, thanks for putting up the show as well.
Yes, sir. For handshakes all around.
This broadcast won't be fun without drivers putting the show. So Love to see you guys. All right, Ilpo, you got anything? Any final thoughts before I send him back to the race chat?
No, go ahead.
All right. Congrats.
Thanks, Ilpo. All right, bye.
Have fun. Oh, wait. Epic drag fail? I cannot drag you. Oh, you gotta move on yourself.
I'll do it. See you guys.
All right. And that was our T3 finisher and the second Ferrari, the second Ferrari driver of Philipp and Muller. And now we go on to our race winner, saving the best for last, Ivan McCroat. Was it Ivan who won the race, or was it one of the few million Mustangs that we saw in this race? Alright, it is Ivan. Let's pull him back. Let's pull him back up here. Ivan McCroat. Welcome.
Hey guys.
Hey. Welcome back to the top step of the podium. How does it feel to be here for a second time this season?
The top step of the podium. This is my first time here, boys.
Wait, this is your first time here? I swear you won before earlier this season.
No, I think I qualified in first, maybe, but I've this is my first win in SRA.
Oh,
and
wait, first win?
Yeah.
Damn, congrats.
Thank you. It just so happened on my favorite track, so I'm glad for that. It's kind of poetic in a sense.
It definitely is. I mean, if it is your favorite track, then you do have the advantage. You know, it is the track you probably have driven and practiced the most. A bit more passion than hatred. So
yeah, she's still tough, but I enjoy the driving, and the practice is a lot easier to keep up when you enjoy the track.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, you did have an extremely dominating race, a good 5 seconds ahead of the Ferraris. You just kept chipping away the lead. You even had the only sub 201 lap as well. We got that on board.
Yeah, I was so on and off about those, like the fast laps. I would like have like a really good one, purple lap, and then the next one would be like 0.8 behind, and I would settle into that rhythm and then get another fast lap, fall back. My consistency may not be that great, but I was glad I was able to, like, every now and then the stars aligned and I got a quick one, while still keeping it off the walls. I mean, you know what? You just like the purple laps and the fast laps were nice, but keeping it off the wall, that's the achievement.
And you did that. Was I mean, back to the walls. What setup were you running? Were you running like something a bit aggressive, or is it like average box setup?
A little bit. We had. I think I used the Ghost setup for like the LFM, so it had like I used that as a base, and then Koa suggested that I drop the wing to 5 and the rear a little bit, and that really helped. That the car was a little bit more lively, just like a tiny bit more lively, but it felt significantly faster, and it was consistent. So I tried going even further with the wing, but it wasn't something I could handle, and it wasn't worth the risk.
Oh yeah, I mean, considering that you did win the race, I guess you did your setup. You probably nailed your setup.
Yeah, I'm really happy with how it worked out.
Gotcha.
I'm also happy that I think Doug was using the same setup. I don't know if he's made any changes to custom to him, but you know, he had a pretty good result too in 6th. Unfortunately, he had a crazy lap. He was going to end up in P2 for qualifying, but he just screwed it up in elbow and lost like half a second.
You know what? At least Doug is finally started pulling his weights in the championship.
He had a great race.
And he is also slowly getting back to his groove with how his life has been changing so far. So we'll cut him some slack. We'll give him some time to come back.
Yeah, big time. He gets a pass.
Also Daytona as well.
I'm just glad he's showing up.
Absolutely.
It's nice to hang out.
Absolutely. And speaking of Doug, Who do you have anyone you're gonna dedicate this win to?
No one. I'm not dedicating it to anyone, but I have a lot of people that helped me get here. Travis and Koa are really helpful to like ask questions about how the car behaves and what the various different setups, setup changes, how they may affect the car. They're super helpful with that, and Diego's an endless source of entertainment in the chat too, so it's really nice to just hang out with those dudes and run laps.
Absolutely, and that's I guess all the Real Spacing shoutouts that I guess that's just everyone from Real Spacing, I guess.
That's right.
So yeah, Nope, you have anything to say to him?
Well, so I want to ask, like, how do you feel about your chances to win the championship? Because I think you have a pretty hefty lead after this race. Anderson is pretty much out of contention after he crashed. Colton didn't score super well, and I believe he has 1-0 round, so he doesn't have like an extra round for drop. And obviously you won. I mean, Damien didn't finish badly, but you were already leading him, and now you won the race, so you have a pretty good lead. So how confident are you going into the last two races? Like, are you good at Oldham Park and Valencia?
Valencia, no. Oldham Park, I don't want to say I'm good because I've never driven it in the Ford, but I'm sort of like way more familiar and comfortable with the track than I am with Valencia. I'm not really like, I'm keeping an eye on the standings, but it's not too much of a, like, it's sort of like, it is what it is. I'll do the best I can regardless. I certainly hope that I can manage, a win, but I have a feeling that I'm going to have to get kind of lucky with where I finish and where my opponents do for the next couple of races. Like, I don't see myself, winning those next upcoming races in the Ford. So yeah, I think I got to get a little bit lucky, but I'm in as good as a position as I can be. Oh, unless, of course, I suppose a slightly better position would be if I didn't have a stop go 30 at Suzuka.
Oh yeah, especially after how far you were ahead of the pits, like getting out of the pits compared to Anton.
Man.
I mean, let's put it this way: because you got the stop and go 30, you probably missed your chance of getting moved up to D1 immediately after that race.
True.
So,
very happy about that.
Maybe that was a godsend.
Yep.
Yeah.
Welcome to D1 next season.
Okay, we'll see. I genuinely believe I belong in D2, but the way this season worked out, a lot of people kind of got moved to D1, people who were way faster than me, and so I just inherited first place.
Well,
it feels a bit weird, but
I would say those
mind.
people deserve to be moved to D1. If you look at their results in D1, they definitely belong there. So
I agree. They're not
looking at
they're not slow.
your pace. I'm pretty sure then you also would do fine in D1. Although it's a little bit hard to say based on, like, this track is, it's kind of special. Some people are good at it, some people are not. But just generally speaking, I don't think you would be in a bad place in D1. So
I think the way I see it is, if I'm in D2, I can fight. I like stand a chance to fight at for wins, but in D1 I'm fighting to be like top 20, and that's like exciting in and of itself. But I'm not good enough for that top 10, at least not yet. Hopefully down the line, you never know.
That's the life of a silver driver in D1 anyway. I think there's like 15 or 16 gold drivers, so top 20 is roughly where you should be as a D1 silver driver, and even then you would be like above the median.
The competition for that, I think the competition for that would also not be easy. Like the most of the top D2 drivers could probably hang out in D1 as well, D1 silver. The guys that are in D1 silver right now are crazy. They're just nuts.
Well, so I think part of the reason why you have such a good lead in D2 right now is I think you're not necessarily much faster than the other guys, but you're maybe a little bit more consistent and make a little bit less mistakes on your own. And that kind of, I think in general, the top of D2 is lap time wise pretty much the same as D1 Silver. The difference is really just in being able to bring the points home, bring the car home, be there every single time.
Yeah. You're right about that. There's truth in that for sure. Yeah, the real question is how much am I gonna sweat the next 2 races? Like, am I gonna put in 300 laps per week now? I don't know.
You have the championship in the back.
But
all you need to do is solidify it.
Like if I don't do it, I'm kind of letting it go. So I gotta find that balance of enough practice, but not too much sweat.
Yeah. If it helps, second place, I believe it's either Colton or Josh Damiani. And they have finished at least in P7 and above. Should be. I think Colton might have finished P6. So you have a decent enough gap. You have a decent enough buffer. All you need to do is be consistent. I mean, this is how you got here in the first place. You got into the lead of the championship without a single win. And now you just need to, all you need to do is just stay there.
That's true. Yeah, fingers crossed. I would really, really like to win. It'd be pretty great.
Yep, you got this. You just need to stay out of trouble.
Exactly, yeah. That's the hard part. And Ulton's coming up.
You have any drop races left for you to use?
Nope. I think Suzuka was the one.
Oh. Yeah.
The first race of the season was my drop race because of the stop go. So sort of like now it's just do as well as I can, as safely as I can. I don't know. I don't think there's a point in like trying to do any too much risky things. It's sort of like finding the balance of as high a finish with safe driving as I can manage and hope that it's enough. But, you know, if Damiani's in front of me, you got to do what you got to do.
But yeah, that's a great performance. That's a great mindset to go with. Good luck. 2 races to go.
Thanks. Thanks, guys.
Yep. But do you have anything else? Anything final to say before you push him back into the chat? Yeah.
I'm just gonna say good luck for the remaining races.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate it.
And congrats on the win.
It'll be fun. Thank you.
All right. See ya.
See you guys.
And that rounds up the podium interview. That is, yeah, we have 2 races to go. This has been a long season, and it kept delivering until the end. Speaking of tracks, yeah, the next 2 tracks is Alton Park and Valencia. I feel like these tracks are not the Mustang specialty, especially Alton Park. Sure, it's got decent curves, but it's a slow speed track, not a lot of straights, and a lot of traction zones.
I don't know. Mustang has good acceleration from low speeds. It's not the best, but it's also not a bad car by any means. And it's really good over the curbs, which at Alton Park can be a pretty good deciding factor when it comes to race pace. Not necessarily for hot laps, because you can always grind to get lucky in any car and get that lap where it doesn't bounce you the wrong way. But when it comes to race, I feel like the front engine cars are better for race at Alton just because how much less likely it is that you get that bad bounce and end up in a bad place.
Yeah, I feel like likewise the Ferraris also, the last time I drove Ferrari here was back in season 10, I believe. It felt nice. The car was agile. It did not take the bumps to rate the best, but once I got the line locked in, it was pretty easy to do. And it's the same. The Porsches are also going to be going to shine on this track because they inherently like the slow speed tracks. even the 992s. So
Yeah. For Valencia, I would be a little bit concerned for the Mustangs because that track has probably the highest tire degradation of anything that we race. And the Mustang is already pretty rough on the rear tires, so I would be a little bit concerned for Valencia for the Mustangs.
but then again, the season has been surprising. We thought the Mustangs would be slow in Nürburgring in the wets, but what did we see? A Mustang dominate. And also BMW, we thought the Mustangs would be good over the curbs in Zolder, but we saw BMW dominate. So this season is absolutely will surprise us. But yeah, that's gonna be it from us, unless you have anything else to say. Finish it off.
No, I'm just hoping that we'll have some more exciting races for the 2 remaining rounds, and hopefully we'll have a lot of teams qualify and run the 6-hour endurance race.
It's in 17 days, by the way. You should sign up. But yeah, that's gonna be us for this week. I have been Arjun, he's been Elpo, and we've been D2. See you guys next week.